Kharu Musiqua is the first retrospective of Badiaa Bouhrizi, aka Neysatu, one of the very first Tunisian female electronic music producers. The album brings together the musical cycle of her productions and compositions from over the last 10 years. Ever evolving, Badiaa waits for no industry to catch her artistry, a graceful encapsulation of the Tunisian spirit, her taste, her musical expression, her devotion to the craft, and activism and commitment to social justice has made Badiaa revered and respected by all who encounter her music. Badiaa, it's my extreme pleasure to meet you and chat with you today. Thank you for joining me. How are you?
I'm good. I'm kind of melting now. Thank you, Dawn. It's an honor. Same here. I'm good. I'm good.
Beautiful. I'm so curious, how did music find you?
As far as I can remember, I started in a local, choir on primary
Mm-hmm.
school.
Mm-hmm.
But also from that choir, I started actually composing kind of operette. I didn't take it seriously for a long, long time. I was a good student. My teenage years, that's exactly when it started, when I actually met musicians that weren't playing Arabic classical music that I wasn't at all interested in at that moment.
Do you find yourself now that you've kind of come back to your roots of and being interested in classical Arabic music?
Yeah, because actually what I didn't realize that I grew up with that. I mean, like before that period of rock, I was like the choir, it was Fairuz. My dad used to sing Abdul Halim, so I knew a lot of that. I sang a lot of Kulthum, and I remember my dad coming home and be like, "I can hear you from the beginning of the street." When So yeah, but then there was a rebellion actually, and later on when I studied music, I realized it was also because it was always felt like it was always sad, the Arabic music,
Mm.
and realized actually there is a lot of it's not there is a lot, there is one mode that is actually major, and all the rest, the maqam, they are minor. So there is that thing of like the aesthetic that is a lot of emotions, but also a lot of kind of melancholy and
Mm-hmm.
sadness that I wasn't. I was in my period of like aggressiveness, and so yeah. So after that, I realized that I came back, and when I really started composing or writing without really thinking about it, it was in Arabic.
You're doing this retrospective, and it was recorded in Tunisia, Paris, London, Montreal in the early 2000s. And it's a beautiful collection of your work. What are some
Nice.
of the themes of your music that have stayed true over the years?
Well, me, when they say I'm engaged or like committed or activist, my cause is actually beauty in the large, in the absolute definition of it. So freedom is part of it. Love is
Yes.
part of it. I didn't start with a conscious effort to make like protest music, for instance. I was like just being real. And every time I wrote something, it was something that really touched me. And I realized later that everything I wrote like two love songs, but otherwise like over 20 songs they were talking about actually social injustice, or just like I said, philosophical quests, of truth. The Palestinian cause was present because I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, for us who come from that kind of world that just the independence or the colonization is still like a fresh memory. For
Mm-hmm.
us, Palestine is actually the last bit of of that process of decolonization. It has
Mm-hmm.
to happen. So since I was a kid, my dad and we grew up on also trying to maintain the culture because without even talking about it, there was this thing of like keeping the Palestinian culture alive. And there was a lot of literature, beautiful, like, something that cuts through to your heart and not actually talking only about war, or it can be talking about love. That also shaped my vision, like not just in a political regard, but aesthetically, like
Mm-hmm.
that kind of real, authentic feeling. I do believe that the only music worth listening to is authentic music. When you study music, or when you make a lot of, you realize there is some kind of recipe that works, and and I'm trying to avoid it. So
You know, your effervescent, your passion, it comes through just in speaking with you. And
thanks.
yeah, meeting you makes your music make even more sense. It's like, it's just who you are.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, yeah, what a pleasure. From the album Kharu Musiqua, this is Ila Salma by Badiaa Bouhrizi.